if I were to name this show something else, it would probably be Temptation, because it just seems like that's what they throw at you guys every week.
Yes, sir.
What's playing that part of it like?
Wonderful.
With a cat who ate the canary grin. I love it.
Yeah. I can speak for
We're
my...
gonna speak
This is my job. I got a degree in economics, and this is now my job. It's fantastic. I mean, luckily, they chemistry tested several of the couples on the show. The three of us had never met until the cast dinner before we started shooting. Just so happened to luck out, and we
walked in and they, there's a big table, and they kind of pulled us aside. They're like, you guys should sit next to each other.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, we're like not stop. 12-year-old boys going,
Boys?
Girls.
Either one. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun thus far, and where they're taking, I think we were talking about just earlier today, it's good. It's juicy. But it's a blast to play.
I have to say, Robert, I have seen you at previous Comic-Cons, just walking around. Are you a big comic book geek?
Yes, and yes. I've actually been here Friday and Saturday, and I do go to the Comic-Cons quite a bit.
I saw you last year here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was the first con I'd taken my girlfriend to, and so we were back this year. But yeah, I'm a big fanboy at heart. I'm a bit. Well, I grew up reading comics, and now I read graphic novels. Since I'm 31, it sounds a little better to say I read trade paperbacks. And I'm a bit of an artist groupie, if we're being totally candid. So I have a couple of friends now who I've made friends with who are artists in the industry, and so I have my favorites, and I hang out in an artist alley. I'm like no different than just a groupie hanging around tourist bus. Yeah,
is that a thing?
It is. It is. I'll take you there. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's the one place that's not super crowded.
That's right.
That's exactly right too.
Live fireworks.
Yeah. And
There you go.
Do you have any comic book heroes that you like, or villains, or villainesses?
Any nerd cred?
None of your nerd like Wonder Woman's amazing.
So what scares you? What really kind of gets to you? This is a scary show, but off camera,
waitering.
Like crazy people. Crazy people are scary, I think.
You don't have to deal with that in New York, so right?
Yeah, not at all. No.
Yeah,
Did you seriously just see food and both of us went?
Yeah, that just happened.
That's definitely
What scares
just
me, the thought of that platter being empty by the time
Yeah.
it's done.
Yes, absolutely.
As I almost passed out onto the microphones.
It's a joke on set. Whenever you can't find one of us, they always go check Crafty. Because we're always, at some point, eating something.
The hand in the Nutella jar.
Is mine.
Either feeding her or feeding myself. What scares me?
Just talking about how surprisingly this show is darker than I thought it was going to be. What are your thoughts on were you expecting the show to take that turn? Did you expect it to be a little lighter?
No, I expected it. I love the aspect of it. And for me, what we were talking about, what scares us, psychological thriller scares me. I mean, ghosts can, things that go bump in the night, or they'll give you a fright. But the idea of, like The Shining, your own father who you love and trust turns completely crazy and wants to kill you. Stuff like that, where it's people you trust, you love in a building, and maybe it's the Amityville concept of the building doing something. That to me is so frightening, not to feel safe in your own home. And I think that really unnerves a lot of people. And if nothing else, if we were going to be nerdy about it and, talk on a more global scale, people are losing their homes because of the economy. And so that to me is a constant fright that we're just kind of putting on screen in a different way.
And even aside from that, being in a spot where if I in a relationship where there was such a temptation that was actually pulling me out of it, because I'm aside from the show, obviously I'm a very big believer in fidelity. That would scare the hell out of me. To be in a spot where I was actually pushed to questioning my relationship and maybe breaking, just breaking, what I've always stood by in my morals, that would actually be a pretty frightening pickle to find myself in.
And that's the beauty of how you play Brian, I think, is you see that struggle. It's not just an easy, she's beautiful, cool, my wife will never find out type of thing. You see the struggle within him, and I think that's what really grounds the character.
That's what's interesting, I think, about the show, is that we see that balance of, there's no, just evil or just bad, and there's no just, only good. It's like a good person can make bad decisions, but then we don't really know whether to like them or not. And, even somebody who's maybe seems to be evil or, still has something human in them.
And the good ones, the victims, that sometimes have a dark
Exactly,
past.
so
Yeah.
I think overall on the show there's like a really good balance of that, and also like you were saying, it's very scary, but then there's also a lot of human kind of storylines and stuff that we can relate to as well.
Yeah, what's going to happen for this triangle?
Are you trying to get us fired?
Yeah.
They're listening always.
We're mic'd.
Yeah. I think if we had to sum it up, things are going to get worse before they get better.
Yeah.
We're far from out of the woods.
Yeah.
Is the balance going to stay
We don't
the
know.
same?
We hope.
Honestly.
Like right now, you're the temptress and you're kind of the wife. But it's like, is it going to switch? Maybe you're not necessarily as the good girl.
Well,
That'd be a good question for the
we're
producers.
definitely in for a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And we keep getting surprised each week when we read a new script that like, oh my God, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, so it's.
I mean, we literally just read a script where something happens that threw both of us off. I mean, we
Yeah.
call each other going, I can't, what? What? It's so much fun for us. For an actor, I think, to, know that you get to play that it's upcoming and you see your own character developing and changing. And it's a lot of fun.
Well,
It's a good challenge.
You mentioned Amityville, Shining.
Yeah.
What are your favorite horror movies outside of that? I mean, if that's yours, what are your guys'?
I haven't watched a lot of horror movies, but before this, I watched Rosemary's Baby, which is, we can see some elements from, and I really thought that was really creepy. But, yeah.
And then there were none.
Yeah.
I mean, that really was. I mean, like I said, I love that book, but I mean that was so great. Rosemary's Baby was great. Shining was great.
Exorcist, of course, that's a classic.
Amityville's
Wow.
great. I mean, because
Yeah.
anytime anything touches upon, like I said Paranormal Activity in the panel, which I immediately wish I'd said something that sounded a lot cooler. But the truth is, I love that one because it's like that made me scared of my own apartment.
Yeah.
Amityville, it's a great story, but it's like I can't relate as much to that or to Rear Window. But it's like Paranormal Activity. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I've had cupboards that I didn't think I left open,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm like, oh damn it! Now I have to be alone in this place. It's not good.
Oh, that's cool because that's all in the DNA of this show right now.
Right. I mean, we just saw it in episode 2, right? I mean, where Brian closes the curtains and he's talking to Jane, and he's like, "Ooh, I thought I closed those," and it's like that happens to me on the regular, and so all of a sudden it's like, okay, where's the scare? Is it in my head or is it in my house? What's going on here?